Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we've got one of these little puzzles that we did one of these a couple of weeks ago that has sort of cages going outside the grid. This one's called Nakatomi Plaze, and it's by yttrio, and apparently it's wonderful. These are skyscrapers that we've got going on in the grid today. Don't worry if you do not know what skyscrapers rules mean, because I have a little video to show you that will explain it all, that was created for us by the YouTuber Chain Bear back in the day, who still joins us sometimes actually when we stream. But anyway, this is the puzzle we're going to be having a look at today. I think it's got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so it's probably not a pushover. Yttrio's puzzle, Nakatomi Plaze. I wasn't sure what Nakatomi Plaze was. I thought it might be a sort of shopping mall or tower in Tokyo, but no, it's from the film Die Hard, one of that all-time classic movies. It's the skyscraper in that. So memories of Alan Rickman and Bruce Willis doing battle there. Anyway, we'll get to the rules of this in a moment or two's time and have a look at what's going on. But before that, what can I mention? There are a couple of things going on I wanted to tell you about. Firstly, we did stream Blueprints last night. Thank you very much if you joined us. I better not give any spoilers, but if you did miss it and you want to catch up, I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. Yeah, we will be back there. We didn't finish the game. Maybe that's not a spoiler. We didn't completely finish it, so we probably will be back there next Monday, I think. What else? Let me look at my list. Well, okay, let's check out where we are in our monthly competition, because Sandra&Nala's, actually I might have a sort of fog of war based Sudoku hunt. This competition went live on the 1st of April, and you have all been loving it with good reason. We've had incredible numbers of people solving this. So we've had 656 people solve all puzzles required. It's gone up again, 738 now. 1,764 solvers of the first puzzle, so do get involved. You'll have an absolute blast with these. They're fabulous, and they're not too difficult. Yeah, you've got until the 20th if you'd like to get involved. I certainly recommend it. It's all over on Patreon right now, along with lots of other stuff too. Now, very bizarrely, today I don't have any birthdays to do. So there were two other things I wanted to mention. The first was I have sort of some bluebell woods near my house, and I took a picture to show you, which is this one. Spring has definitely sprung, hasn't it? Look at that. I do love bluebells. I'm never quite sure why they're called bluebells, because they are undoubtedly purple. Yeah, they are absolutely resplendent at the moment, so I thought I would share that with you. I hope that's okay. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is some rather wonderful news. Yesterday, we were able to tell you about one of our viewers who has just got into Stanford. Well, I can tell you that Chan Erteran, who has featured on the channel dozens of times, literally, he's one of these phenoms, a very, very young regular participant in the World Sudoku Championship, who's done brilliantly. He's sort of a top 5 type level competitor. Well, Chan has finally reached the age at which he gets to go to university, and he's just been accepted by Harvard. And this, I mean, fantastic. So Chan, I just wanted to say well done. I'm absolutely thrilled for you. You'll be a credit to them. And yeah, some really lovely news from the Sudoku community. Now, what else? Is there anything else? Don't think so. I don't think so. So let's have a look at the rules of yttrio's puzzle, and then we'll try and explain skyscrapers by using an animation. So we've got normal 6x6 Sudoku rules apply, which means that must be in the middle of the grid, I think, or the grid itself. Maverick's just about to fly over. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 6 once each in every row, every column, and every one of these sort of rectangles. that lives in the grid, sort of bold outlined 2x3 rectangles. Digits may not repeat in cages, so we've got weird cages that go outside the grid today, and we've got skyscrapers. All outside cells on a clue must contain a digit. Oh, sorry. I now see that there are cells outside the grid. I was sort of wondering if that was just my imagination, but there are, aren't they? They're very light grey. Right, so all outside cells must contain a digit. That digit counts how many digits are seen looking into the grid in the row or column. Digits are visible when they are larger than all digits before them. That's a very succinct way of describing the skyscraper rule. But don't worry if you don't understand it. Because there's some cells there. Because I can share with you this, which as I say, Chainbear made for us back in the day. So if I click play on that, you can see that we start off, we put all the digits 1 to 9 in a row, and then each digit represents basically a skyscraper with a height equal to its value. So you can see the 2 is very close to being the shortest skyscraper, the 1 is the lowest. And then looking from this direction, so looking into the grid from the left side, the 2 is visible because nothing precedes it. The 4 is visible, the 5 is visible, but then the 1 is invisible because the 5, you can see it towers over it, and the 3 is invisible. And then the 7 is visible again, the 9 is visible as the biggest digit, and then the 6 and the 8 are sheltered, and you can't see those because of the 9. So what the animation is going to, I think, show us is that the clue outside the grid in this situation would be a 5, and there it is. But if you were to look from the other side, if you had to put a skyscraper clue from the other side, you can see only the 8 and 9 would be visible. So that clue would be a 2. And there it ends. So I hope that makes sense. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful way of explaining the rule set if the words weren't as clear as they could have been, which I think actually yttrio's done a great job there of making them as clear as you can. Do have a go. Have a go at Nakatomi Plaze. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So, okay, something I've just verified in my head, which probably was obvious, is that the digits outside the grid, they can't be bigger than 6. So all of these cages, which have 6 cells in them, do contain the digits 1 to 6. I was in the back of my mind, this is probably a silly thought. I suddenly thought, oh, maybe you could have a 7 outside the grid, but you can't, because even if you had a row or a column, let's say, that did this, the skyscraper clue for that would be 6, wouldn't it? You can't see more than 6 skyscrapers. So the biggest digit you could have as a clue outside the grid is a 6, and the smallest digit will be a 1, and that will be any 6 that's immediately in the perimeter would have a 1 skyscraper clue, because obviously this is the biggest building. All of these cells would be sheltered, so you'd only see 1 skyscraper. Now, how do you think we get started with this? Those 2 are the same as those 2. I mean, I might as well record it, because those 2 digits have to go in this box somewhere. So those are the same. But that's weird, isn't it? That really tells us nothing. Is there anything we could say about the value? The only way in which those purple digits... Oh, I think this is right. The only way in which those purple digits' value is potentially affected is by this clue. Because that is looking at the purples eventually in its column. So that digit can't repeat in its cage, but it's so ridiculous. That digit there it could go there, couldn't it? Because this is outside the grid. it doesn't have a Sudoku effect, so it could absolutely go just beneath itself, providing it didn't repeat in its cage. Yeah, okay, in fact, that's just illustrated there by that cell, isn't it? Where does that cell go in this box, whatever digit this is? Well, it actually has to appear sort of immediately in one of those three, because it can't repeat in its own cage. So it's not in those, so it is in these. So this one might be the same as that one. So I feel like that can't be a tremendously high. No, yeah, there is. Okay, so there's a tiny restriction on this. It's not very much, but there is a small restriction on it. I don't think this could be 5 or 6. Because if it was 5 or 6, let's just put 5 or 6 in. Let's think about what that would imply. That would imply that you could see at least 5 skyscrapers in the row. But we know that whatever digit this is, it's appearing in the first 3 cells. So imagine this was a 5 and it appeared here, which would be that would allow us to create the biggest run of skyscrapers, because you could have sort of 1, 2, 5 and then a 6 over there. You'd still only see 4 skyscrapers. So I don't think this can be 5 or 6. Now 4 I think might work if this was 4. Oh, well, actually all that one. 4's weird. So 4 introduces like 2 degrees of freedom. If that was 4 and that was 4, you could have 1, 4, 5, 6, couldn't 1, 4, 5, 6? So that digit, oh, I mean, it's an appalling pencil mark, but forgive me, it's all I've got at the moment. And then that one goes in there. So that digit is in one of those cells, because it can't repeat in its cage. So does that have the same restriction on it? If that was... I'm not sure it does, you know. Oh goodness me, this is confusing actually. No, I think that could absolutely be a high digit, couldn't it? If it was 6 and it was in one of those cells, that would be fine. This could be 1 and this would be a 6, or it could be 2 if that's a 6 or that's a 6. So I think actually it might be quite likely this is a high digit. These 2 digits, whatever they are, they do go in those 2 cells in row 1, because they can't repeat in this cage that's sort of bending round the corner. So they are in those 2 cells. Which might matter for some reason I can't establish in my brain. Wow. Or maybe it's this cage. I'm sorry, I haven't got a handle on this at all yet, have I? Oh, okay. So this... No, that's not even true. I must be able to perform some sort of similar... Yeah, that digit is in those cells, isn't it? By the same logic that we did with the yellow here. So that's in one of those. So again, that digit is 1, 2, 3, or 4. But that's not very helpful, because I can't... It's not like I can say I've got 2, 1, 2, 3s and 4s in column 0, because column 0 doesn't play Sudoku. Orange is in one of those, so it could be the same as purple, if that was orange. This one is down there, and also up there, therefore. Yeah, I suppose those 3, one of those is purple, because one of these because these 3 digits can't go in those 3 cells, so they are those 3 cells. Oh no, this is. I'm not thinking about this clearly. I know I'm not. I can't quite get a grip on it here. Is it? It's not this one, is it? I don't think it's this one. I don't know. So if I tell you something, actually, that can't be a 6. I think. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's quite hard to see, but it can't be a 6. Because if it was a 6, there's a couple of ways of seeing it can't be 6. But let's just put 6 in and consider how that would work for the row. In order to see 6 skyscrapers, you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wouldn't you? And this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. And we wouldn't have put 5 in this cage, so it's not a 6. So I've managed to get this down to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. No, I can't leave that in there, can I? 6 is in the grid. Oh, hang on, that's weird. That is totally weird. Because now this can't be 5, because the 6 in the box. That isn't. Oh, that's. I really like that in a sort of in a way that makes me feel slightly icky. So hang on. So I worked out this couldn't be 6, and the effect of that is it can't be 5, because it throws 5. Well, because it throws 6 in the cage into the grid itself in one of the first 4 positions. How could this be 5? The 6 would need to be in one of the 2 last positions to see 5 skyscrapers. Even if this was 6, 1, 2, 3, 6, you wouldn't see more than 4 skyscrapers. So that is 1, 2, 3, or 4. These are both 1, 2, 3s, and 4s, and 5 is in this cage as well. So how has that helped us? No idea. No, I haven't got. So if that was a 6, this would be a 1. If this was a 5, it would be a 2. But these two could be very small. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how to think about that. If that was a 6, that would be a 2. Oh, or is it something to do with... I don't actually think it is. I'm sorry, I've got nothing here. I'm not seeing it clearly. I know I'm not. It's okay. It's quite hard for that to be a 6. I think that might be true. It might not even be impossible, though. If this was a 6, this column would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be a 1. So one of those would be a 1. These would be a 5, 6 pair. Oh, that's weird. Hang on. Am I being dense here? I am being dense, aren't I? Yeah, I don't think that can be a 6 on reflection. Because I think the question that would arise from that, I mean, it's not very easy to see, but it can't be a 6 for this reason. If this is a 6, this column does go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the question then I should have asked immediately is, where would 6 be in this box? Because given that these would be from 1, 2, well, they would be 1, 2, and you can't repeat 6 in the cage, this would be a 6, wouldn't it? Oh, actually, maybe that's okay. Oh, that's my doorbell. Oh, hang on. Maybe I might have to get that. I'll be back in a second. Sorry, I had to run downstairs, and then it was one of those delivery people who just run off. So I didn't even need to go down. Right. So, sorry, what were we doing? We were thinking about this being a 6. Yeah, and hang on, because then I was worried that it might work after all. This would be a 6, so this would be a 1. So one of these would be a 1. This would be a 6. So this would be a 2. Now, so that's... This would be a 5, wouldn't it? Maybe that's the problem. If this is a 5, that would have to be a 3. So these would be 2, 3. These would be 1, 4. This would be 5. So it's actually amazing how much you can get done here by just, hypothesizing one digit in this cage. It's sort of, I suppose it is a very stipulating digit, isn't it? But it looks to me actually like that might work. Okay, so am I not appreciating some points there? Maybe that is 6. Maybe that's the point I'm meant to be appreciating, is that it could absolutely be 6. Oh dear. All right then, so what on earth am I meant to do with this? I have not got a clue. So if this was 6, this would be 1. If this was 5, this would be 2. We'd remove one digit from those. Okay. Oh, hang on. Maybe I have to think about this differently then. Although, oh, I've got it, but it's nothing like... That's really interesting, actually. I've just realised something completely obvious, but it's the opposite to how I've been thinking about the puzzle. So you could see, well, the way I've been thinking about the puzzle is trying to hypothesize about 6s, and then I could see loads of consequences from that, but I couldn't rule them out. Whereas actually, I've just realised something that's transparently obvious the moment I have the thought about it. But having that thought has taken me however long that's taken, an unimpressive amount of time. But it is quite interesting just as a thought experiment, because it does show that sometimes if you try and think about things differently, your brain does come up with something useful. So here was my thought. In this cage, so far, I've not put in 5 or 6, and my thought was simply this. Could 5 and 6 be in... both 5 and 6 be in these 3 positions? And then my brain suddenly realised, no, of course they couldn't. Of course they couldn't. Because if 5 and 6 are both here, where do we have... it doesn't matter where they are. But the point is, where does the 6 go in the column? Whichever one of these is 6 is going to plonk a 6 into one of those. And whichever one is 5, in order to see 5 skyscrapers, you can't see the 6 in the first 4 positions. So there would be 2 6s in this box. And that's totally, once you see it that way, it's completely obvious. So in this cage, this has to be 5 or 6, which, oh, I don't know which one it is. But this digit now is 2 or 3. It can't be 1 because it's definitely going to see this. And then if this is 6, this is 2. If this is 5, this is 3. Now. So now what do we do? No idea again. Now I've got to come up with some new... Well, okay, here is a little thought. Whichever one of these is not this one, it's going to plonk a 6 into one of those positions. Oh, wait. Surely. Well, certainly. Can that really be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No. Oh, it's beautiful. Well, it's not utterly beautiful, but it's a bit beautiful to me. So, let's just go through this again. I think that must be correct. My thought about whichever one of these is 5 or 6, in its column is going to have a 6 beneath it. It has to be far enough away to allow it to get to see at least 5 skyscrapers. So that's going to plonk the 6 into one of these. Now, we know if 6 goes in purple, 6 goes in one of these cells as a very powerful skyscraper total. Now, it couldn't go here because then the column would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would need to be a 6, which it definitely isn't. So it would have to go here. Now, if this is a purple 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is a 5, 6 pair, and that breaks this cell. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's now not 6, which means this digit is not 4, because the 6 is coming too early in the row for this to be a 4. And this clue is a 1 or a 2, which means that goes over there. But no. But no. Okay, no, but let's go back. I said one of these was 5 or 6. It can't be this one because the 6 can't. So the 5 or the 6 is this one. Oh, is there a reason this can't be 6? It would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wouldn't it? That would be a 1. This is exactly the point we were looking at before. I don't know. If this is a 1... Oh, no. No, I'm not having that. Yeah, this is not the 6. This is not the 6 we're looking for, as I'm pretty sure Alec Guinness once said. If this was 6, this is a 1. Let's just put it in. So this is what we're analysing. Now I want to look at where 1 goes in this cage. And the answer, because it doesn't go in these cells, is there. And that can't be a 1 because this can't be a 6. So that doesn't work. So this is not 6. This is 5. This is 6. And that must do. So this can't be 5 now. Because we need to... The 5's going to have to be no earlier than that. If it was here even, 1, 2, 5, 6, we'd only see 4 skyscrapers. So the 5 is down there. I can't really pencil mark that because it's a cross-box pencil mark, but it is in one of those positions in column 4. And this is a 2 because of we know the position of the 6. So these are now 1, 3, 4. Now remember, these are the same as these, aren't they? So we can take 2 out of those. And this digit is 1 or 3. It could be 1 if this was 6. Could it be? It could be 3 if that's 6. So this is never 6. The 6 is in that cell or that cell, which is weird. And, okay, this digit... Well, this digit I don't know what it's 1, 3, or 4. So, but let's just analyze that for a moment. It can't be 1, can it? We've just looked at that because that would have to be a 6. So this is 3 or 4, and that means that 1 is one of those two digits. But if that was 1, that would be a 6, wouldn't it? Yeah, that doesn't work. Yellow can't be 1. Because this would be a 6, and we've already got a 6. So this indigo is 1, that's 6. So this is now 3 or 4. Okay. I don't know what that means. But that seems moderately exciting. 6 in column 6 is in one of those cells. Okay, these digits include a 2 in one of them. This, oh, it must be this cell, surely. How could that, oh, it's obvious. How could this be a 3? If this is a 3, how many skyscrapers could you see in the column maximally? You could see the 3, you could see a 4, and you could see a 5, and you could see a 6. That's 4 skyscrapers. So this digit is a 1 or a 2 in order to see 5 skyscrapers, and it isn't a 1. Sorry, that's totally obvious. So this is a 2. Okay, so 5 in this box has to go here. Again, this couldn't be 5, or we couldn't see 5 skyscrapers. So this digit is a 3 or a 4. And I think it's the same as that one. This is not a 4 anymore, because it sees the 5 too quickly. Yttrios, this is ridiculously clever. This has now got to be a 3, which means this is a... Oh, what? Hang on, what? Oh, I know what'll happen. I know, but how does the grid... So the grid thinks that's a 3 in the corner, yet there is a cell there. So if I put a 3 there, is that a 3 in the corner as well? No? Is there a... I don't know. How does the grid think that's a corner? Anyway, it does. So this is a 3. Right, this is a 1-4 pair. This is a 4 now. My yellow digit is a 4. So, ooh, I've got to be a bit careful now. How's that? Yeah, one of these digits is a 4. And yet we have to see. So yeah, okay. So the way to do this is to think about how we're going to see 4 skyscrapers in row 2. Actually, we're going to have to see a 1, then a 2, then a 4, because this 3 is never being seen, and the 5 is never being seen because the 6 towers above it. The 3 isn't being seen because one of these is a 4. So the only way we get to a 4 count is like that. And, okay, so that one loses its colour, if not its religion, and that one gets a colour, which is yellow. And these digits are a 3-5 pair. And that 1 is not going to help me with that one. So that 3-5, I think, will have to be resolved by something that goes on down beneath it. Now, 2, 3. Okay, I mean, I don't know quite what to do with this, but I can see that because 5 and 6 in column 6 are in these cells, these digits are from 1, 2, 3, and 4, which means this digit is a 1, 2, 3, or 4, because we know the purples are the same. So 5 has to appear somewhere there. Is that useful? I don't know. I don't know is the short answer. Golly. Or maybe I've got to do something with this T now. Yes. Yes, I can do something with this T. I don't know if this is where I'm meant to look. I just want to look here for a bit longer, but I have seen something I could do with the T if I get totally stuck over this side, which I feel I'm on the brink of being. So in this column, the 1 is never seen, so we have to go in order from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. They don't have to be consecutive, so we could have the 4 here, then we could have the 1 or the 4, then the 5, then the 1, then the 6. But that is the order. So if this was a 6, this would be a 1. And that would be a 2. And this would be a 3 or a 4, which it could just about be if that was a 5. Which I don't like my 5 pencil mark there into 4 positions. It's making me look at columns in an inaccurate way. Okay, so maybe I am going to look at this then. Okay, my thought about these cells outside the grid is that none of these now can be that's really important actually. That's very okay. None of these can be 6 because we know that a row that if this was a 6, for example, that row would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 1 would clash with this one. So the 6 is in the grid, and therefore it's in one of those, which makes this not a 6, so that does do that. So that's 6, that's 1 now. Okay. But also, if one of these was a 1, then there would be a 6 in one of these. So none of these is a 1. So there's a 1 in one of those as well, which isn't here. Oh, I see. So I could have just said this is a 1-6 pair. I didn't see that. This is not a 1. So this is a 1, because I know 1 of purple is a 1. Oh, well that's good. So that's 1 and that's 4. Now we can colour these. We know that 4 is the yellow and 1 is the indigo. I'll probably be consistent. Let's make these indigo. This one can stay as being purple for the time being. Oh, that's not now a 4. So that one is not a 4. So 1 is now in one of those 2 cells in column 4, and this digit is 4 or 5. And this digit can't be enormous because the 6 is so early in the row. So that digit, if this is 6, it's a 2. And if this is 6, it's always a 2. It's always a 2, because if this is a 6, this will be a 1, which means this will be seen and the 1 won't be. So that's always a 2. And that we can't write. So these are 3, 4, 5 to complete the cage. So one of these, could that be a 5? That would have to be a 2. I'm not sure. Feels unlikely, doesn't it? But it might be possible. Oh, hang on. Let's go back to this column. How could this be a 4? Remember, we were talking about this column. In order to get to a skyscraper count of 5 in the column, the 4 has to be visible. And if this is 4, the 5 would be here or here, and it would cover the 4 and make the 5 impossible. So this is 5, which means that the 5 in this T-shaped cage is there, which I think that's going to do huge things in row 4. But let's just before we get carried away, let's try and do some more things down here. So this is a 2 or a 3. Look, no, that's not even true. No. Where's the 5 in this column? The 5 is visible, isn't it? I.e. it comes before the 6. So this must be a 3. Because this is seen. Obviously, it's the first digit. The 5 will be seen, then the 6 will be seen. So this is a 3. This is a 3. This is a 2-4 pair. Now, in order to only see 3, we need the 4 to come immediately to shield the 2. Otherwise, we'd see the 2 and the 4, and this would be at least a 4. So now that's a 4, which means this is a 3. These digits are 2, 3, 5. That's not 2. That can't be 5. We wouldn't see 3 skyscrapers. 3, 5 would work. 2, 2, 5 would work. Maybe this is always 5. If this is 5, no, yeah, because this can't be 2. If this is 5, this is 3 and this is 2, and the 3 is too big, so that can't be 5, which means this is 5, which means this is 5, this is 3. And now this row is sort of, the 3 logic is not going to help us. Whether this is 2 or 3, it reaches the same count. But let's go back to this 5, because that must be important. This digit cannot be as high as 3. We looked at that for this column, didn't we? So it has to be a 2 because it can't be a 1. And that does the corners. And that is a real 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight. Losing its religion. I'm not having that. That's not a real 3 in the corner. Where's the 6 in this row? It's got to be far enough along that it doesn't prevent us from seeing 5 skyscrapers. So this is now, right, this might have already been done by Sudoku if I'd been more diligent about it, but you know me. So it's going to be resolved by these two, which are 1, 3, and 4. So the 3 in the row goes there. This is 1 or 4. Now, if the 4 was here, it won't work. 2, 4, 5, 6 is all the skyscrapers we'd see. So we have to do 1, 1, 6, 4, 1, 6, 4. That's how to solve it, I think. Let's just double check. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A beautiful puzzle. Just a beautiful puzzle. Nakatomi Plaze, indeed. Really very, very interesting and super cool puzzle. So let's get rid of purple and turn those all orange. Let's turn all of those yellow. Let's turn all of my ones indigo. And now I feel we are entitled to click tick and click that and solve the puzzle. Brilliant, yttrio, as usual. Let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back with what I understand is a monstrously difficult rat run tomorrow. See you then. Bye for now.